Hey guys, this is Hectic Noobsy here, and welcome to my new series on my channel called Deck Profiles. I'll be doing deck profiles on Pokemon, and this may give you an inspiration or help you in tournaments and stuff like that. But because the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm actually made a deck which I've made and I'm going to tournament with on next week's Tuesday with my buddies. So I thought to myself, since this deck is like a tournament sort of deck, I thought I'd give it a deck profile, so you guys can have some inspiration on probably using in other tournaments. But I wouldn't recommend this using this in Pokemon leagues because it's only just a standard deck. And and I'll be calling this my Primarina Gyarados deck. It's pretty simple because that's the main attackers you want to when you want to start with. Well, without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. Alright, first off, you're going to need 3 copies of Popular from Sun and Moon. And I wouldn't recommend this to start off with at the start of the game. I would recommend putting that on the bench, but if it's your only active, then put it in the active. And you're going to go through his evolution chain, which will be Brioni first stage. And also what you're going to need is 1 copy of non-GX Primarina, and you're going to need 1 copy of Primarina GX. Your main attacker is Primarina GX, to be fair, or your Primarina non-Primarina GX, because you're going to focus on its first attack on Primarina GX, which is Bubble Beat, which does 10 plus, and it does 20 more damage to all of your Pokemon that has water energy attached to it. So basically, if you add more energy to your other Pokemon, the damage or the attack is going to rise up a bit more. Because to be honest, that Primarina, with all the energies attached to all your Pokemon, if you're able to do that, its max attack can do 240 damage at max. But when you add Choice Band and include that, that's 270 damage. Which is a lot, and that is technically enough damage for you to wipe out basically all the Tag Team GX Pokemon we have now. So technically, you're going to want to need a lot of energy for this deck for your attack to power up. And also your defender of your deck, which would be a Alolan Vulpix, you're going to need 2 copies of, which is right there. And you're going to need his evolution chain, which is 2 copies of Alolan Ninetales. And first of all, you're gonna need to focus on Alolan Ninetales a bit as a defender of the deck, because his ability is pretty much very good overall, which is Luminous Berry, and it says prevent all damage done to that Pokemon by EX and GXs. And that can really struggle on your opponent if their only active is a GX. So that can really actually do a pinch, and its attack is actually quite decent for 3 energies and 2 colorless. Well, 1 water energy and 2 colorless. It does 80 damage, so even with Choice Band on it, that's like 110 damage. So right off the bat, you're doing the same amount of damage to that GX. Right, and your second main attacker of this deck, you're going to need 2 copies of Magikarp, 1 from Crimson Invasion. Mainly if you have another card of this, or if you have another card of that, then I recommend this. But the reason why I put them in here, because it looks like it's sort of identical, but I recommend having 2 of these in here from Crimson Invasion, which is, it's actually not that bad because its ability is actually good overall. It prevents all damage done to the Pokemon on the bench. And its attack is basically an evolution sort of attack. Basically, you search your deck for an evolution that evolves from this, and you turn ends, basically. And your main attacker, well, you're not main attacker, your second main attacker is your Gyarados GX, which is going to be 1 copy of. Because its first attack is actually not that bad. For 1 water energy and 2 colorless, you do 70 damage. But its second attack you mainly want to focus on. It does 100 plus for 5 energies, even though it's a big bulky number. But it's basically worth it in my opinion, because if there's a stadium card in play, you get to discard it and it does another 100 damage, so that's 200 damage off the bat and you discard it. So that's really good overall. And also, I'd say the one that can use hacks in this game, in my deck, in my opinion, I would use one copy of Articuno GX from Crimson, from Celestial Store. Because his ability is not good overall. His ability is good overall as well. It's basically Tapu Koko's ability, which, if you put that onto your hand, onto your bench during your turn, you may move any water energy from your other Pokemon to that Pokemon. If you do, you move it to your active, and you can smack him really hard with 130 with its first attack. So that's the main attacker. And also, if you want to draw cards, or you're short on cards, I recommend one copy of Oranguru from Sun and Moon. And that's the Pokemon lineup. Not too crazy. Pretty average overall. Let me grab Pokemon here. Now we can be focusing on our stadiums. Right, you're gonna need 2 copies of Lana from Burning Shadows, I believe. Yep, Burning Shadows, which heals all 50 damage from your other Pokemon if you have any water energy attached to it. So that's a healing stadium, to be fair. So really good stadium overall. Not many people use that card. And you're gonna need 2 copies of Lily from Sun and Moon. If it's your first turn, you can draw more cards. You can draw up to 8 cards during your first turn, but if your second turn, you draw cards up to 6, which is not too bad. And for your deck recycler, for you to shuffle all cards into your deck, you're gonna need 2 copies of Wick from Burning Shadows. Basically, each player counts their cards in their hand, and they shuffle their hand into their deck and draw that many cards. Which is pretty much N, to be fair. Sort of. But I'll say Wick, in my opinion, is the best shuffler. Putting your hand in your deck and draw a fresh hand. The best supporter you can use. And the last of my supporters, there's not really much supporters in my deck. You're going to need 2 copies of Sophocles. And the reason why you're going to need 2 copies, because I recommend 3 or 4 is a pretty bad idea. But I recommend 2 is the way to go. Basically what the card does is discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do, you draw 4 cards. So it's basically, you're going to draw, it's a draw card support sort of thing. But it is. And that's the support lineup. Not too fancy there. Pretty odd, but it's not too bad. Now, support items. Let me just grab all my items here a minute. It's all like all over the place at the moment. Right. There we go. Right, you're gonna need 2 copies of Ultra Ball. Mainly, a lot of people use 4, but I mainly use 2. It's just my opinion. If you want to add more Ultra Balls in there, you can. You're gonna need 4 copies of Aqua Patch. So, because the reason why you're gonna need 4 copies is because, say like if you use Ultra Ball and you can discard energy, well, you don't need to worry about discarding energies, because with Aqua Patch, you attach a water energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, onto your bench Pokemon with water type Pokemon, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's your sort of like per more 1 energy per turn sort of card. So you can use that. Right, and also if you're running low on basics, you were gonna need 3 copies of Nest Ball here. And basically search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put on your bench, nothing too fancy there. And since this is a stage 3 deck, you're going to need 3 copies of Rare Candy to get your Primarina up to stage 3 very quickly from your basic. And you will gonna need 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher. And this card saves me most of the time. when your Primarina gets knocked down, you can just retrieve it back, or you shove a free Pokemon from your discard pile to you inside your deck if you're running low on cards. But that card really saved me a lot. And you're gonna need 2 copies of Field Blur, because we do not like Garbodor from Breakthrough. No, we don't. Because basically, Garbodor's attack from Breakthrough is basically, if there's a tool card, a Pokemon tool card attached to it, all abilities from Pokemon will be shut off completely. Well, we don't need to worry about that, because with Field Blower, you can discard a Pokemon tool card attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, or discard a Stadium card in play, which is pretty nifty and quite handy. And you are going to need 2 copies of Wishful Baton and 2 copies of Switch. And the reason why I put Wishful Baton and Switch in there, because just in case you're in a pinch, basically I haven't got no Guzmas, so I thought Switch would be the best, I guess, but you can't, but I guess that's fair enough. But I found a similar way like Guzma, but a bit different, and that's why I came up with 2 copies of Escape Rope. So what you can do with Escape Rope, if you don't want what you want in your opponent's active, you can Escape Rope, and obviously they will have to go first and switch their Pokemon and switch yours, and you can switch again by using your other Pokemon, and boom, smack them really hard for an easy knockout if they put their weak Pokemon out first. And that does it for my item set, my item lineup. Nothing too fancy here. Well, you're going to need a lot of items for this deck, because this deck really just relies on items a lot. Now, for our stadiums, you are going to need 1, 2, 3 copies of Brooklet Hill, because the reason why you're going to need 3 is because you want your Gyarados to feed off that stadiums, and basically you're going to need a lot of stadiums for your Gyarados attack to work. So that's why I've added 3 Brooklet Hills for that, and plus not only that, that's really nifty at the start of the game. It allows you to search your deck for a basic water energy or basic fighting basic water Pokemon and fighting Pokemon from your deck onto your bench. Pretty nifty. And the last up for my deck is going to be energy. So you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 water energies. Because technically all that energy is basically for your Primarina. Your Primarina needs to be relying on these energies for its main attack to work. And that does it for my deck. Hope you guys like it, or you get some inspiration, or at least something out of this. Hopefully. Give you some inspiration, ideas about water deck Pokemon. Personally, if you guys want to switch it up, that's completely fine. You do what you do with your decks. But personally, if you guys want to switch it up to make it better, but the cards I've got is very limited, so I can't add more GX cards, to be honest. If you guys want to be creative, I'd rather add 2 Gyarados GXs, 2 copies or 3 copies of Primarina GX, and if you guys want to, you can get you can have 3 Articunos if you guys want to. And that's it for my deck. Hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you do. I want you guys to hit the like button if you guys liked it, and I want you guys to make sure you comment down below. What is your favourite deck to use in tournaments? I'd like to hear it, and I'll try and reply to comments as much as I can. And also guys, make sure you hit the notifications bell, click on it so you never miss any other videos I upload, and make sure you click that subscribe button. And guys, like we always say, this is Heg the Noobster signing out.